Hello, and welcome to Storytime with Captain Party. Today on Captain Party Storytime, we're going to be reading Chapter 15 of Choke. So, let's get started. If you're ever in a big hotel lobby and they start to play the Blue Danube Waltz, get the hell out. Don't think, just run. Anymore, nothing is straightforward. If you're ever in a hospital and they page Nurse Flamingo to the cancer ward, do not go anywhere near there. There is no Nurse Flamingo. If they page Dr. Blaze, there is no such person. In a big hotel, the waltz means they need to evacuate the building. In most hospitals, Nurse Flamingo means a fire. Dr. Blaze means a fire. Dr. Green means a suicide. Dr. Blue means somebody stopped breathing. This is the stuff the mommy told the stupid little boy as they sat in traffic. This is how far back she was going nuts. This one day, the kid had been sitting in class when a lady from the school office had come to tell him that his dentist appointment was canceled. A minute later, he raised his hand and asked to go to the bathroom. There never was any appointment. Sure, somebody had called saying they were from the dentist, but this was the new secret signal. He went out a side door by the cafeteria, and there she was, waiting in a gold car. This was the second time that Mommy came back to claim him. She rolled down the window and said, "Do you know why Mommy was in jail this time?" "For changing the hair colors," he said. "See also the malicious mischief. See also the second-degree assault." And she leaned over to open the door and never stopped talking. Not for days. "If you're ever in the Hard Rock Cafe," she told him, "and they announce Elvis has left the building, that means all the servers need to go to the kitchen and find out what dinner special has just sold out. These are the things people tell you when they won't tell you the truth. In a Broadway theater, announcing Elvis has left the building means a fire. In a grocery store, paging Mr. Cash is a call for an armed security guard. Paging freight check to women's clothing means somebody is shoplifting in that department. Other stores page a fake woman named Sheila. Sheila to the front. That means somebody is shoplifting in the front store. Mr. Cash and Sheila, Nurse Flamingo, they're all bad news." The mommy shut off the engine and sat with one hand, gripping the steering wheel at 12 o'clock, and with her other hand, she snapped her fingers for the boy to repeat the stuff back to her. The inside of her nose was dark with dried blood. Twisted old tissues smeared with more old blood were all over the car floor. Some of the blood was on the dashboard from when she sneezed. On the inside of the windshield was some more. "Nothing you learn in school is this important," she said. "The stuff you're learning here will save your life." And she snapped her fingers. "Mr. Almond Silvestri," she said, "if he's paged, what should you do? At some airports, paging him means a terrorist with a bomb. Mr. Amond Silvestri, please meet your party at gate 10 on the D course means that's where the SWAT team will find their man." "Miss Pamela Rank Mensa means a terrorist in the airport with just a gun. Mr. Bernard Wellis means your party at gate 16 on the F course. Mr. Bernard, please meet your party on gate 16 on the F course means somebody's holding a knife to the throat of a hostage there." Mommy set the parking brake and snapped her fingers again. "Quick like a bunny. What's Miss Terrell in Mayfield mean?" "Nerve gas," the boy said. The mommy shook her head. "Don't tell me," the boy said. "A rabid dog?" The mommy shook her head. Outside the car, the tight mosaic of cars was packed around them. Helicopters beat the air above the freeway. The boy tapped his forehead and said, "Flamethrower?" The mommy said, "You're not even trying. Do you want a clue?" "Drug suspect," he said. "Yeah, maybe a clue." And the mommy said, "Miss Terilyn Mayfield. Now be thinking about cows and horses." And the boy screamed, "Anthrax!" And he pounded his forehead with his fist. And he said, "Oh, anthrax, anthrax, anthrax." And he pounded his head and said, "How come I forget so fast?" And with her free hand, the mommy messed his hair and said, "No, you're doing good. You even remember half of these, and you'll outlive most people." Where they went, the mommy found traffic. She listened for radio bulletins about where not to go, and found those tie-ups. She found gridlock. She found jams. She searched for car fires or open drawbridges. She didn't like driving fast, but wanted to look busy. In traffic, she couldn't do anything, and it wasn't her fault. They'd be trapped, hidden, and secure. The mommy said, "I'll give you an easy one." And she closed her eyes and she smiled. And then she opened them and said, "At any store, what does it mean when they ask for quarters on the check stand 5? And they were both wearing the same clothes from the day she had picked him up after school. In whatever motel they got, when he crawled in bed, the mommy snapped her fingers and asked for his pants and his shirt and his socks and his underpants, until he'd passed them all out from under the covers. And in the morning, when she gave them back, sometimes they were washed. When a cashier asks for quarters, the boy said, they mean a pretty woman is standing there and everybody should come and look at her. Well, there's more to it than that, the mommy said, but yes. And sometimes the mommy went to sleep against the car door. And all the other cars drove away from around them and around them. If the motor was on, sometimes red dashboard lights the boy didn't even know what were would light up and show all kinds of emergencies. These times smoke came out through a crack around the hood and the motor stopped by itself. Cars stuck behind them and would honk. The radio talked about a new tie-up, a stalled-up car in the center of the lane of the freeway, blocking traffic, with people honking and looking in the windows at them. Being on the radio, the stupid little boy figured that this was being famous. Until the car horns woke her up, the little boy just waved. He thought about the fat Tarzan with the monkey and the chestnuts, the way the man could smile, the way humiliation is humiliation, only if you choose to suffer. And the little boy smiled back at all the angry faces glaring in at him, and the little boy blew kisses. And when a truck honked its horn, then the mommy jumped awake. Then slow again, she pushed most of the hair off her face for a minute. She pushed a white plastic tube up her nostril and breathed in. Another minute of nothing went by before she took the tube out and squinted at the little boy sitting next to her in the front seat. And she squinted at the new red dash lights. The tube was smaller than her lipstick, with a hole to smell through on one end, and something that stunk inside. And after she smelled it, there was always blood on the tube. "You're in what?" she said. "First grade? Second grade?" "Fifth," the boy said. "And at this phase your brain weighs 3-4 pounds? In school he got straight A's. So that makes you what?" she said. 7 years old? 9. "Well, Einstein, everything those foster parents of yours have told you," the mommy said, "you can forget it." She said, "Those foster families, they don't know what's important." Right over them was a helicopter flying in one place. And the boy leaned so he could look straight up at it through the blue parts of the top of the windshield. And the radio talked about a gold Plymouth Duster blocking the center lane of traffic on the Beltway. The car appeared to be overheating. "Oh, screw history. All these fake people, they're the most important people for you to know," the mommy said. "Miss Pepper Haviland, she's the Ebola virus. Miss Turner Anderson means somebody just threw up." The radio said emergency crews were being dispatched to help clear the stalled car. "All that stuff they're teaching you about algebra and microeconomics, forget it," she said. "You tell me what it does get you if you can square root a triangle and then some terrorist shoots you in the head. Gets you nothing. This is the real education that you need." Other cars edged around them and took off, squealing fast, and disappeared to other places. I want you to know more than just what people think is safe to tell you, she said. And the boy said, like what? Like what more? Like when you're thinking about the rest of your life, she said, and she put her hands over her eyes. You're never really thinking more than a couple years down the road. And what else, she said, is, by the time you're 30, your worst enemy is yourself. Another thing she said was, the Enlightenment is over, and what we're living in now is the disenlightenment. The radio said that the police had been notified about the stalled car. The mommy turned up the radio loud. Damn, she said, please tell me that's not us. It's a gold duster, the boy said. That's our car. And the mommy said, that shows how little you know. And she opened her door and said to slide over and get out on her side. And she watched the fast cars just missing, driving past them. This isn't our car, she said. And the radio yelled, oh, it appeared the occupants were abandoning the vehicle. And the mommy shook her hand for him to take. I'm not your mother, she said. It's nothing like that. Under her fingernails was more dried blood. The radio yelled after them, and the driver of the gold duster and the small child were now at hazard themselves as they were attempting to dodge across 4 lanes of freeway traffic. She said, I figure we have about 30 days to pile up a lifetime of happy adventures. That is, until my credit cards run out, she said. That's 30 days until we get caught or unless we get caught first. And the cars honked and they swerved, and the radio yelled after them, and the helicopters roared closer down, and the mommy said, now, just like with Blue Danube Waltz, hold on to my hand tight, she said, and don't think, she said. Just run. Well, that was our lovely chapter for this evening, and I hope that you all have lovely times, and we'll see you next time.